Okay. Um, Welcome to the LDC board meeting. We will call the meeting to order, and let's have a roll call, please.
Director Rabu,
Here.
Director Reeves,
Here.
Director McCreary,
Here.
Director Sites,
Here.
Chair Gilbert.
Here. Okay. We do have a quorum in place. The first item of business on our agenda is approval of the minutes. Those were distributed in advance. Did anyone have a question or changes? I did have a question. Did we need to mention in our minutes the training that we did for SBA? You know, we did that prior to the meeting last time, but it seems to me we ought to have it on record somewhere.
I think you're right.
We can add that, that's fine.
Yeah, it's just something to, put in one line or something that prior to the meeting, we participated in that required training.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, well then, subject to that, that addition to the minutes, is there a motion for approval?
Moved. Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Director Rabu, seconded by Director McCreary. Will you poll the board, please?
Director Rabu,
Aye.
Director Reeves,
Sustain.
Director McCreary,
Aye.
Director Sites,
Aye.
Chair Gilbert.
Aye. Okay, the minutes are approved. Next on the agenda is Resolution 25 LDC 01, approving a loan to H4 Manufacturing LLC. Zach?
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. This is a request for a $150,000 loan to H4 Manufacturing LLC, or also known as H&H Metal Fabrication, for working capital needs. So this loan is to help them with their liquidity as they're trying to grow the company with adding more clients on and moving forward into the future. They had initially experienced a downturn of business during the COVID-19 pandemic, utilized all the resources available to them, but had become behind in certain payments, but have caught up since then, which has led the business to be pretty low liquidity-wise as they're looking to grow and expand. They've made big strides in the past couple of years, going from having a concentration of nearly 40% for their largest client to having a diversified client base as they're growing into other businesses, so that way they're not reliant on a single client. We'll mention, as this was initially brought before the credit committee last Thursday, it did include other financing through Midland States Bank for $500,000, but that has been removed from this request now as they did not go forward. And I've mentioned that in the credit memo under section 1.4 there. With us today is the business's CFO, Kevin Farrell. I'd like to pass it over to him to kind of tell you a little bit about H&H. I know he's been traveling. It looks kind of like you're still traveling at the moment, but happy to have you here with us. So Kevin, I'll pass the floor over to you.
Appreciate it, Zach. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in the Dallas airport and it's crowded. So yes, we learned over yesterday and today that Regions Bank had failed to remove the UCC filings last summer when the SBA loans were paid off in full. So the initial credit review that MSB received yesterday indicated that we had losses, a negative equity position and negative cash flow because of that failure to understand that those loans had been paid off and the didn't consider the bonus depreciation we took of over $1.8 million. If you remove the $1.8 million from the equity position, we're in a positive position. So we expect that to go forward. It just won't go forward in time for today. They asked about a half hour ago for 2024 tax returns for the business and personally for the consulting agreement language and that we had with the former sellers and for the release of the UCC filing, which they know is going to take 30 days. So we expect to come back to you with an SBA 504 and 7A requests later this spring when those things have been taken care of. But for now, we're thrilled that you're willing to consider this. H4 Manufacturing was formed 6 years ago to purchase the assets of H&H Fixture Company, which is a 1947 company that started in the light fixture manufacturing business, but turned into a business that manufactured and still does the custom electrical enclosures for the construction industry in St. Louis. We're the only supplier in that regard today in the St. Louis area. And as Zach mentioned, we made and make custom portable industrial building panels for Emerson, which was 40% of the business over the last 20 years. Emerson's business is episodic. It's like a roller coaster, up and down. And we finished the last project a year ago. We're waiting for the next, but we don't have any insight as to when that comes. So we've diversified greatly, and actually in January had the best January ever in the history of the company. So we're very happy with Worldwide Technology as a new customer and General Automatic Transfer. We currently, so we had $300,000 in revenue in January. We have $250,000 in work in process. And to put that in perspective, our best year, the best year ever for H&H was $1.6 million before we started. We were at $3.6 million during the boom times a year ago with Emerson. We were $2.5 million last year, but we expect $3 million this year. As Zach had mentioned, we used all of our SBA line of credit during COVID. We survived because of PPP, both of which have been repaid, and an idle loan, which is the only debt we have on the books, except for some friends and family and some equipment leases. And so we have no working capital line of credit. My wife and I refinanced our house in July and paid off the 2 SBA loans so that we could free all of the inventory receivables and the originally purchased equipment to be used as collateral. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Kevin. Is there any questions from the board for Kevin or I?
So I'm currently moving.
We spent quite a long time at the review committee going through some of the details of this, and I think we came to the conclusion that things are looking up and are certainly going in the right way, in the right direction. for this company. It seems that they have analyzed what they needed to do, attracted some new business, so they are not concentrating so much on Emerson, and the strategy seems to be working.
I sat on the review committee, and one of the things you talked about during that meeting was the worldwide technology client. I think the board would benefit if you would expand on that and talk about how it came about and what they're using and the prospects with that client.
Be happy to do that. Wanted to check and see if Morgan Jarrett, our COO, is on the line as well.
I am, and I'm happy to answer that if that's easier.
Yeah, go ahead, Morgan, and I'll pitch in.
So my name's Morgan Jarrett. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of H&H Metal Fabrication. To your point, one of the new customers that we added last year is indirectly Worldwide Technology. So just up front, if you're looking at our customer base, an actual readout of the customer names, this would be business through MCC or Major Custom Cable. Worldwide has moved to a vendor managed inventory system, trying to reduce the number of their actual tier 1 vendors. So while all of the parts we are creating, we ship directly there, and they are approved by engineers at Worldwide Technology for their use. It does all appear to be under the MCC heading because all the paperwork flows through there. Just as a caveat, the story there is that quite quickly after we got started in 2019, we wanted to go after Worldwide Technology, a prominent local company that is really tied to the same industry that we work in often. Through that kind of endeavor, we were able to make contact with someone who ended up to be really more in their maintenance department than anything else. We started building some DC mobile power units for use on their production floor that were fairly specialty design, and we're really excited about becoming vendors to Worldwide. It turns out that was all paid for on a T&E card by the maintenance department. It never actually went through official channels. So when we would try to follow up or looked make larger inroads, it was all because we didn't really exist in their system. So even though we had a great project that went through with that gentleman retired, and we had trouble continuing forward. This past summer, someone who had been a junior engineer on that project reached out to us as they were having trouble sourcing some metal fabricated parts for one of their clients, AT&T. He remembered me and reached out. Basically, we were able to get a meeting set up, went in, had a great meeting, went over some different parts offerings that we were going to be able to help them on, particularly basically adapter area. Into data cabinets. Kevin, I think that might be your mic when you're not. So they go into data cabinets, change the rack unit spacing, different various adapter brackets. What we've been able to do since then is grow that offering. So we now have, I was setting up another one today. I think we have 10 set up part numbers in their system now, and that is growing as we're able to do some prototyping for them, and has given them an advantage of having a local supplier that's able to react a little quicker than some of the international suppliers that they were using for a lot of this bracketry, and being able to customize it and deliver it a lot quicker. So we're growing with them. They are getting ready. They're in the middle of, they're doing computer training, implementing a forecasting program that will allow us to have automatic reorders on these parts as they dip below certain levels, and give us an ability to forecast into the future for what we build and do production planning. So it's been a really great partnership, and is a lot smoother this time around, but it did take about 4.5 years to get to where we're at this point. with successes there. So that's the model of what we've been trying to do, is trying to keep the customers that we inherited and had happy and growing with them, but also trying to reach out and find new opportunities, both locally and nationally.
Thank you.
Those who weren't at the committee, Rabu or Don, do you have specific questions?
Yeah, I have one question on cost of goods sold. It seems there's a significant decrease. And if I understand correctly, this is accrual. And it seems like very significant change in cost of goods. Is that sustainable, or can you shed more light on the cost of goods sold?
Yeah, I can answer that really quickly. So they had changed their cost of goods from previously to have the labor broken out with that. So I believe with the if I'm sorry, let me make sure I'm stating this correctly. Yes. So that with that decrease of cost of goods, it's because that the labor was broken out from that particular item. So that's why there has been that decrease with that. Is that correct, Morgan?
So sort of, Kevin, I can see the CFO would really like to answer the money question.
That's probably fair. I'll let Kevin then.
So to add to that, it's the product mix that has made such a difference. GAT, General Automatic Transfer, based in Fenton, is providing its own materials. They're using the same vendor that we have used, Phoenix Metals, but they're paying for it and having it delivered directly to us. So that has eliminated for all of their business the costs of the steel that we're using. And with respect to worldwide technology, the selling price is significantly more per hour that we work than some of the other products have been in the past. Even so, we have budgeted for a 25% cost of material and 25% in other manufacturing expenses, and still are showing a healthy profit on what we expect our revenue to be in 2025. Just one other thing to mention: the owner, CEO, and his number 2 person were at our plant on Monday, both to assure us, to see the place, to assure us that we were going to continue to see a steady stream of orders from them. And knowing that I was coming to Dallas for a generator trade show, expressed some interest in teaming up in a project related to that. So we're feeling really good about both Worldwide and GAT.
So you expect this to remain consistent through the future? There's going to be a decrease in cost of goods sold. You will be giving up maybe a little bit of margin on material, but you're charging much higher prices. So even though so this trend isn't really like apples to apples when you compare 2024 or 2023 and 2025. Your business model's kind of changed in a positive way.
Yes, but the current cost of goods sold for most of 2024 and the first 6 weeks of 2025 is a bit artificially low, I believe. I'd expect it to go back to something like 40%, but we're going to ride this wave while we can.
And just to interject, just a small portion from my end on that GAT business that we're talking about. It's not just the parts fabrication that they're providing the material for that is driving some of that. We began kind of late December actually doing assembly work for them. So it's not just creating the parts for different ductwork pieces. We're actually doing a lot higher labor only billing because of assembly work where we're assembling the pieces into the units themselves and then shipping to their end user.
Awesome. No further questions from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Don, did you have questions?
Only question, excuse me, only question that I may have is basically, you say another bank or another two banks are waiting for your 2024 tax returns. You know, I like what I see on paper now, but with that 2024, should we just wait on that just to make sure we are in line with our standards?
As far
Our
as,
review committee, I'd like to comment on that, on your question, Don. Our
Okay.
review committee looked at that. And the question was, do we place the $150,000 as a contingency that let the 500,000 come in first, and then we would go ahead with it, or should we assist them at this time and kick in 150 without that requirement? It was our feeling in the review that where they are, it would place somewhat of a burden on them to sit and wait for the 500, and they've pulled it out of the. They've come a long ways with it, so it's as far as the client is concerned, but the feeling was that we really didn't need to hold them up on the 150, given where they are and what needs it. So that was just the conclusion of the review committee.
It lets them clear their payables and get on firm standing with all of their other suppliers, and
Right.
that will help them moving forward as they start picking up these new jobs.
and also kind of given our current policies with what we require for financial statements being provided is that we don't request the 2024 tax returns until after they've been filed, after the April 15th deadline. So it's not typically something we request. MSB requested those 2024 tax returns as a result of a second financial review for the reasons that I listed over in the section 1.4 of the credit memo. So just that they were not looking, they didn't want to continue with it because of the low liquidity of the business and the amount of UCCs filed that Kevin mentioned, along with as what they had listed as the debt service coverage ratio. And actually, I should point out too, something I didn't mention, with a kind of relook without MSB's financing within this, that the debt service coverage ratio that I have for all of the reported periods in here is above a 1, so it all cash flows, whereas previously only 2023, 4, and the interim 2025 cash flowed on that. So now they're all above 1 in each period with just our financing in there. And kind of even looking forward past just this 150, in conversations I've had with Kevin, that they can make the 150 work going forward without having MSB's financing involved with it, and even trying to look forward to get us over to that SBA 504 loan that Kevin had mentioned previously, to help continuing improve their cash flow and get them to a better spot liquidity wise for the business.
So would 150,000 be enough, or for them to reach their particular goal within the next 6 to 12 months?
I see Kevin's trying to unmute.
Well,
I think he is having issues. I don't know, Kevin, if you can nod your head or shake your head as far as. Oh, there
I'm
you go.
back. I'm back. So right now, for the first time in over a year, our receivables exceed our payables. And that has been, that ratio has been improving each of the last 3 months. We expect it to improve later this month. The short answer to your question is that we believe that we're going to be out of this really difficult time within the next month or two. The 500 that we were going to use, and because it would pay off our largest and important local powder coat supplier that's over $100,000 right now, and they've been very patient, but we're in trouble if they lose their patience. The 500,000, the bulk of that was going to repay prepay 7 leases for equipment, totaling $285,000. By prepaying those leases, we save $13,000 a month in cash. So that's a beneficial thing as soon as we can get that done. The 500 was to be a bridge loan to the 504 and the 7A. With the 504, we intend to purchase the building that we're currently leasing and take care of those 7 leases. So we really expect all of this to be completed with your help by the middle of this year.
Thank you.
any other questions? Hearing none, is there a motion?
So move, Sites.
Second, Dot Reeves.
Okay, it's been moved by Director Sight, seconded by Director Reeves. Will you poll the board, please?
Director Rabu,
Aye.
Director Reeves,
Aye.
Director McCreary,
Aye.
Director Sights,
Aye.
Chair Gilbert.
Aye. The motion is approved. Good luck. Thank you.
very much.
Thank you all.
Okay.
You're welcome. Go make it happen.
Moving ahead, status of accounts, Chris?
Yes, ma'am. I sent you all the final version of the report a few hours ago. I presume you have it?
Yes.
Okay. So the report is for January 31st, 2025. You had revenues of $6,200 and expenses of $7,800, almost $7,900. That's up from normal because I had a couple of loan origination fees that I hadn't put in. I hadn't accounted for, so it bumped that income up. And then we pay that. Annually we pay a fee for insurance. It's a D&O insurance that SBA requires, and it's over and above what SLDC provides for us. So that's a one-time fee. So you won't see that. You won't see our expenses up like that except once a year. So we did have a loss for the month of $1,600. But even so, even with that loss for January, we're still up a little bit on our net income for the year. We're in a negative position on fund balance, but that is decreasing each month. So it's a little under $95,000 of the negative fund balance. We didn't close any loans this month, but we had closed personal space and fitness, and in December I didn't have a chance to report that to the board, so I wanted to make sure that the board knew we did that. That was a $229,000 SBA loan. So our portfolio is 59 loans, just a little bit under 10 million in principal outstanding. The 59 is broken down between in-house loans that I write checks or wire money out. That's 40 and 4.3, almost 4.4 million in principal outstanding.
and then the 19 SBA loans in our portfolio of 5.3 million in principal outstanding. There are 4 loans on the delinquency report, and the total principal on those 4 are $671,000 of principal outstanding. So you're looking at ratios, it's just under seven on both, whether it's loans to delinquent to loans outstanding or principal delinquent to principal outstanding. Tracked for you for quite a while, the number of loans this board has written off. So since 2001, March of 2001, I've come to the board and we have written off 96 loans. Just a little over 5 million in principal outstanding on those. Of the 96 that we wrote off, we've collected 41. We've collected money on 41 of those write-offs. 21 of them we've collected fully. We've collected completely what we wrote off, and 20 we've collected partially. So to the tune of 1.2 million of collection. So your actual loss in number of loans is 75, and your actual loss in principal is 3.8 million. But the last line on that sheet is just a kind of an aging of the 59 loans, the 4 that are delinquent and the 55 that are current. Second sheet is just a picture of LDC financially, the corporation, if you will, including the loans that are outstanding, and just the negative fund balance at 94, almost 95,000. We're able to do that again. I say this all the time. If you look over to the right, you'll see the accounts payable SLDC. If they're not requiring that 197,000, I'm okay with the negative fund balance of 95. And as we work to reduce that, it'll be real. The cash will be real. We'll be able to pay to SLDC what we owe them. The next 2 sheets are the funds that we have, that this board administers. You have and everything now. I'm safe in saying that everything that we have, the $4.3 million dollars, those are all dollars in the bank. So I can write a check tomorrow. So that's something unique in the last, I don't know, couple 3 years. Before we had funds outside, I'd have to draw it down and take a little bit. This now we can actually close a loan as needed as soon as the board approves. You had 3 loans, 3 deals. Totaling 300,000 before we met today. You just committed 150. All of that closes, we'd still have just under $4 million to lend out. That 4 million or that 3.8 is broken down in detail. It just tells you where those pools are sitting: the COVID relief repayment, the old EDA repayment, and so on and so forth. That's just what the original, over on the left there on that sheet, is just the original loan program that these repayments came from. And then that old downtown parks money that we got, that $3,600 that we inherited that's sitting there. But anyway, it's just a detail of the $3.8 million that we can lend out.
Hey, Chris?
Yes.
Is there anything
yes,
new on that Kingsway stuff?
Not that I know, but maybe some, Zach's shaking his head no.
Nothing new at the moment, but
I know it's been in the paper a little bit, so.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Lindsay, got anything on that?
We haven't heard anything from Kevin Bryant yet, if he's gotten his business license or occupancy permits, so it's still kind of on hold.
Okay. Thank you. All right. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I have a question that I probably should know, but do any of these have like a time limit? Is that any of these pulls?
Well, I do know that if it goes past 6 months, the board has to address it, reapprove it. Good enough? Okay. So the next sheets are just a detail of the loans that I told you, the 4 that are delinquent. the city design, I know Linda sent them a new ACH form because the account that we were using was frozen. So we'll have to get a new account set up for them. And on the next sheet, the St. Louis Grocery, I had sent them, we had some communication. I sent them an email last week, spoke to them by email today, and they promised me they'd put in the two delinquent loan payments in the mail today. So and again, those go back a couple, they paid in January, and I believe they might even paid in December. But the $6,600 are loan payments from some previous months. But as I said, they promised that they'll send it in a check to me today. I don't know a lot about CMT. I just understand that the owner was in a house fire and was hospitalized. I don't know to what degree. I don't know if they're still there. I don't know if anyone out there knows, but that's the most I understand about CMT. And the final page is SBA, which has been, the loans have been current, and I hope they stay current. And that's all I have on the loans.
Chris, can you tell us, or Linda, is there any chance that the proposed urban chestnut thing is going to generate any money at all for us?
I don't think so. They're selling the company for less than the debts, but we do have the personal guarantees of the owners still. I'm hoping to talk to Jackie next week and see what she's finding out from the bankruptcy court, where things really stand.
Okay. That would be interesting to find out. I think we been over backwards for a number of years to do what we could for them, and
still,
we don't have a whole lot to see for it. For our patients. Okay, any other questions on the financials? If not, Zach, you want to update us on the SBA program? And we got some information about the portfolio and how we're doing as far as the reviews by the SBA.
Yes. So I'll start first, kind of looking forward at our pipeline. So currently we have 2.7 million in loans that are in the closing status, along with another just under 3.1 million in prospects that we're looking to hopefully get to you guys hopefully soon, as we're working through applications and whatnot. So hopefully a good amount coming so far this year, in this fiscal year, I should say, since the beginning of July. We've closed 4 loans for $704,000, with one of those, as Chris mentioned, Personal Space Fitness, for the 504 loan there. As far as the SBA lender portal, so we've presented this to you guys a couple of months ago, and just wanted to present it again so we keep you guys all updated. I'm going to keep it really short and just say there's no updates on it. Would like to point out, so that the lower the score, the better for us, because that's lower risk, and that we're better than our peer group average and portfolio average. So that's always good to hear. But yeah, as far as what we presented to you previously, no updates there.
And I know we talked about the, risk, because we have too many things in the same category is not really realistic, because it's sort of a catch-all for miscellaneous, and all the companies are different. They just don't have their own category and number. So it's not as bad as it might look.
That is correct. Yeah, it's in professional services, which is mean a lot of things.
Yeah, can we, are there questions from any of the other directors?
Just one. Laura, you might be able to answer this for me. The RAMS fund, are they available to our division?
No, we don't have anything to do with that. That's all they, driven by the alderman.
Okay.
Is
All
there
right.
anything else? Not, Rodney, I see your face there. Do you have anything to tell us? Oh, you're just
All right, yeah, good
sneaking in with
afternoon,
Linda there.
everybody. Yeah, I'm sharing Linda's square with her. So I just wanted to say good afternoon. It looks like everything is flowing well. So thank you for allowing me to come in at the end.
Hey, thank you. Anytime. Anytime. Okay,
Absolutely.
anything else to be brought before the board? Okay, if not, our next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, March 13th. So we'll adjourn the meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. We're done. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys, for letting me be back on.
Thanks.
Okay,
Thank
we're good.
everyone.
Thanks.